Hey everyone, welcome to the Ottawa Herald Podcast. Each episode of the podcast will feature the voices making news in and around the Franklin County community. I'm your host, John Jared Hawks, and on this episode, Ottawa High School wants you to see one of the most popular comic strips of all time come to life. The school is putting on the Broadway musical You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown at 7 p.m. Thursday and at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Saturday. The show will be staged at the Ottawa Memorial Auditorium on South Hickory Street. Just before one of their final late-night rehearsals, I caught up with two cast members and the director of the musical for a conversation. We talked about the musical itself, high school theater in general, and the challenges that come with it, with each member of the conversation talking from their unique angle. Guys, thanks for listening. Let's get started. Well, I'm joined by three guests. I think we should start by just saying your name and your role in the upcoming production, starting with you, Ms. Miller.
I'm Amy J. Miller. I'm the theater teacher at Ottawa High School, and I'm directing the show.
I'm Blake Wallis, and I'm Charlie Brown.
I'm Ashlyn Thomeczek, and I am Lucy Van Pelt.
Before we get started talking about the musical itself, I've got a question for you, Amy. Why this musical in particular? What made you select this musical for your fall production?
Well, this is my first year here, and I wanted a show that I was familiar with because I would be with new students, new school, a new venue. So I didn't want to be learning everything at the same time. So I thought I would choose, like I said, a show that I was familiar with. And I also consulted with Mrs. Underwood, who is the chorus teacher here, and she said that she also loves the show, and she assured me that we would have students that would be able to play the role. So it was a joint decision between the two of us.
Okay.
It's a fun show. It's a happy show. Needed something that was light and frothy.
Gotcha.
So.
Blake and Ashlyn, what was your reaction when the show was announced?
I was extremely excited. This is my first high school production, so I'm looking forward to being in a show with these guys.
Yeah, I was excited too. I just like being in any musical, so it didn't really matter to me what it was that much.
Definitely. Cool. Well, as we kind of start talking about the show, I'd like to hear from you guys, Ashlyn and Blake. What is this show about?
It's basically just like a lot of the Peanuts comics piled all together. Just a daily life of Charlie Brown. He's just happy-go-lucky like he always is, and everyone else is always, kind of picking on him.
He's a little kid that can't seem to find out how to fit in.
Kind of starting to talk about the timeline of the production. Did you guys audition for this show?
Yes. Okay,
cool. Mm-hmm. Well, when did those auditions take place, and what were they like for you guys as students?
I would say they're about like a month ago.
The end of August?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, a couple months ago. So,
Yeah, the time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't too bad for me though, because I'd already been through a few of these before, because I'd been previous shows, so it wasn't too difficult for me to audition.
Okay.
Yes, Blake's senior.
A senior this year.
Ashlyn is a freshman.
Gotcha, okay. Ashlyn, you being a freshman, was this your first kind of audition? What was that like for you?
It wasn't my first audition, but it was my first audition for something local.
Oh.
It was definitely a little scary because I had to find something that would show what I can do, and also we had to have a minute of monologue, which was a little hard to memorize. But just the lenience of Miss Miller was what I would call relieving. The way that she did it, she set it up to where you could pretty much do whatever you were comfortable with, and then if she wanted you to do something, she wasn't, you need to do this. She was describing what she wanted you to do, and in the most simple manner possible.
Miss Miller, was this a difficult show for you to cast? I know you had...
No. I had several of the, like I said, Mrs. Underwood assured me that we would have the students that could play the roles, and there were several of them that just walked in and blew me straight down to the gym. I wouldn't say I was surprised. I was thrilled by the talent that we have in this school, and I am so excited about the students I have in the cast. Indeed, it wasn't difficult at all. Well, actually, should I say, it was difficult narrowing it down.
Ah, I see.
Cool. But we have the best cast.
Yeah, definitely. Like a little family. They're all terrible.
Guys, kind of walk me through what you guys have done in the, I guess, month since it's been cast. What's the rehearsal process been like?
Okay, well, the first 2 or 3 weeks that we were rehearsing, we had music practice where we went over all of the music pieces, like, say, My New Philosophy, Supper Time, all the craziness. And we did that until about 5 o'clock. And then we had about an hour to go over all of our lines, talk to people, get into character before 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is when we do blocking and lines and working with our fellow cast members until 8 o'clock. That's when the real put together happens.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Mrs. Underwood, the course teacher, worked with the students on the music. She's the vocal music director of the show, and she helped them with that. So by the time they came to me for blocking, they already had the songs pretty much down.
Ashlyn, you mentioned that the cast has become kind of like a little family. What do you think led to that, or why is that?
Well, mostly because the way Miss Miller cast us is all pretty close to our personalities, other than Blake. He's not all crazy. But a lot of the people that are in the cast I already am fond or aware of, and then just getting to see the goofy sides of everybody, I guess we just kind of grew, and now we got each other's backs.
And Blake, this next question might be one for you. You've seen a little bit in your high school career. For this, has this show posed any unique challenges as you've gone along in the rehearsal process?
Well, this is the first show where I played the lead, so it's a bit more difficult than it usually is. Typically, I'm just like a background character who has a few lines or no lines at all. And this time I have a lot of lines and a lot of songs and a lot of blocking, so it's not too bad, but like, 'cause this is a smaller show, but it's definitely been more difficult than in the past.
Miss Miller, has there been anything that you've seen, just zooming out to the whole scope of your career in theater and teaching theater, has the show posed any unique challenges putting together?
Well, the fact that we don't have our own stage. We don't have where we're rehearsing in the chorus room, thanks to Mrs. Underwood. And then on Sunday, we will move our set over to the auditorium, the Ottawa Municipal Auditorium, and we will spend a week there. Well, actually, we have 3 days of rehearsal on that stage, and then we open. And not having our own space where we can keep our props, where we can build our set, and where we can rehearse. And because of the construction going on in the school, my room is over in the middle school. So I'm not even really in the same building. So that has brought some serious challenges. But the students have really stepped up. I haven't had any issues with them when they're here for rehearsal. When I say, have your lines learned, they've had their lines learned. It's been, everyone has risen to the challenge.
Guys, for you as students, what has been the most difficult part of preparing this show?
Probably having enough time for sleep and homework.
Yeah.
That's it.
Getting homework done, yeah. That's mainly it.
Definitely. And kind of on the flip side of that question, what has been the most enjoyable or the most fun part of preparing this musical?
They better say Miss Miller.
You are a pretty cool director. I'm not going to say. You even dance with us.
Well,
yeah.
Just being in it's pretty enjoyable.
The fact that the characters that we're cast with are all someone that we can actually get into or relate to makes it so much more fun, because we can put our own twist on it. So it's something that you've never seen before, which is exciting.
All right, guys, Thanks for listening. If you liked this podcast, share it around, tell your friends, and be on the lookout for the next one. We're always working on our next podcast. And we certainly want to know what you think of them. Leave us a comment wherever you're listening to this, or shoot us an email at news@ottawaherald.com. And be sure to check out our website at www.ottawaherald.com. We've got tons of great stuff on there to help keep you informed about what's going on in the Franklin County community. And yeah, that's all from me. Cheers, guys. I'm your host, John Jared Hawks. We'll see you next time.